Hey there, internet people. It's your good buddy Rue. Here to, well, you know what? We know the deal by now. We're going to be talking about some comics, and for the first time, I'm going to answer some of the Ask Rue questions. So let's get started. Blackest Night, number 8. The end of this epic crossover with DC. And there's one thing I wish I could say is that I wish I could say that I really did love this comic book, but I just can't. After 8 issues of twists and swerves, basically a story that just went on and on and on, seemingly forever, this was not a very satisfactory ending. It just seems like I just cannot get behind this issue. First, the awesome idea of Sinestro as a White Lantern went away way too quickly. Second, the major battle, like the whole thing, this entire thing's been building up to, is done before the half the book is even over, and it's finished by a dead man pulling some Rick Jones Deus Ex Machina bullshit. He just, oh, well, why don't you just go ahead and do this? Like, where this was not hinted at throughout 8 issues and a whole bunch of other tie-ins. I'm sorry. It showed up out of nowhere, saved the day, and then seriously, the last half of this comic book is just resurrecting people randomly. Except for, honestly, and I'm sorry, huge spoiler alert, whatever, if you haven't read it yet, fast forward until you don't see this book hanging up. Bringing Dead Man back to life is actually fairly interesting, and I might save it up. But everything else is just this Silver Age love fest that I honestly don't care about, and I'm sorry, I hang out on the internet way too much, and I didn't see fans clamoring for the return of Osiris. I'm sorry. Brightest Day better fucking rule with Bernard coming on to Green Lantern Corps. I have a feeling that my time with the Green Lantern universe is coming quickly to an end. Moving on. Cloak and Dagger number 1. I actually really liked this one-shot, and I've never really been a big Cloak and Dagger fan, but I got it for a good price, and I figured why not give it a chance. I really did enjoy this. It was a very good introduction. If you've never read these characters by themselves, I'd highly recommend the Cloak and Dagger one-shot. But does kind of lead to the question of what the point of them being an Exodus was. This just basically goes back to the old status quo. But again, I liked it. I just didn't understand the purpose of them the past year. Prelude to Deadpool Core number 5. You know, 5 weeks, 5 fun Deadpool comics. I know this isn't Kyle Baker's normal kind of art, and I hope he doesn't permanently switch his style. But I thought it was kind of fun. I really can't wait for Deadpool Core. I really enjoyed this series. And again, just to remind you from last week, Mark with a Mouth is ending with issue 13. That book sucked. Deadpool Core so far has ruled, and I don't understand how one writer can not understand Deadpool in one book and honestly get him really well in another. Same freaking writer. I don't understand it, but good for him for getting it. She-Hulk Sensational, one shot. This is basically a 30th anniversary of Stan Lee creating She-Hulk, which honestly made me feel very old. But this really, as an anniversary issue, this fulfilled many goals, in my opinion. One, it actually was a very good, what I thought was fun, original stories. And 2, the backup, like the reprint of one of the John Byrne series, honestly made me want to go and pick up some older trades. Like, Marvel's going to get more money from me because the reprint I thought was a good story, and I'm curious where it came from and what it set up. So good job with this, Marvel. I really, really enjoyed this. And if you like Dan Slott's or Peter David's She-Hulk run, and if you like Brian Reed at all, it's a Peter David original, Brian Reed original, and a reprint of one of the Byrne series. Highly recommend this. It was a lot of fun. X-Force 25. Now, I don't know if Marvel or DC planned it, but I do find it funny that Blackest Night and Necrosha, basically the same story, ended the same week. Whatever. This was nowhere near perfect, Necrosha, but with the New Mutants run, and I liked most of the X-Force books, I think I found it more entertaining than Blackest Night. I'm still looking much more forward to Second Coming, which we'll get into in a minute here, but I really enjoyed Necrosha. Maybe, I think I'm going to have to reread X-Force 25, though, to see if I really understand everything that happened, but good book, good. I'd highly recommend if they do like a Messiah Complex hardcover. Necrosha, I think, was worth your time. Blackest Night, you know what? Thanks for Final Crisis. Thanks for fucking Countdown, DC. I can't even be mad at you. I keep wasting my money on you. And the definition of crazy is doing the same act over and over again and expecting different results. And I'm sorry, DC. I'm almost at my wit's end with you. But I'm still stupid enough. I'm probably going to try the Return of Bruce Wayne. It's just the way it is. X-Men Forever #20. Oh my god. Seriously. This book right here, again, I know I harp on this, and there's been some horrible issues and some perfect ones. The last page of this comic, holy fuck. And I interviewed Chris Claremont again this past week for The Outhousers, and that should be up very soon over at theouthousers.com. That's www.theouthousers.com. The greatest comic book message board in the universe. Whole universe. And I guarantee you there's websites on it. And he said, and we interviewed him before I read this, and he wouldn't even spoil this for us in an interview, and I'm very glad he didn't. Basically, and I know this is when I read when I read the Essentials. Where did Sentinels come from? At what point in time did anybody learn enough about machinery to create Sentinels? And this comic book for Chris Claremont's X Universe, honestly, the last page answers that question. And I'm usually a pretty bright guy, and I didn't see it coming, and I thought it was freaking sweet. And coming to X-Men Second Coming, like I said, this is the one shot that starts it off. I liked it. I thought it was a very good opening issue. Over at the Outhousers, we've had some debates about whether or not it was new reader friendly. I think it is. I think that people who don't know how Cable fixed this problem don't care that Cable had a problem. But that's just me and some other things going on. But again, I've seen these debates. I don't really chime in as much as I used to. But I thought this is a fun comic book, and I'm really interested in the storyline of not Jean Grey, because if this turns out to be fucking Jean Grey, I'm gonna be pissed. But also, just Nightcrawler kind of finding out what X-Force has been up to in this, that storyline is kind of... I really am gonna be interested to see how Storm and Nightcrawler and everybody else feels when they find out what Cyclops has been up to. And finally, for comic books this week, I have Incorruptible #4. I honestly don't remember if I've talked about Incorruptible. It's basically the mirror image of Irredeemable. I don't know why I keep giving this an Irredeemable shots. This is #4, which means there's been one good comic. And Irredeemable, maybe a third of it has been great. But I keep coming back to this, and I don't understand why. Maybe somebody out here can explain to me why I keep making myself buy these every month. I just don't see sustainability in either of these series. The fact that Irredeemable was even gone past 12 issues is a testament to, not decomposition. What's that big word that everybody always accuses people of anymore? Someone will, remind me on the internet. I'm not going to re-record this whole thing. So that's it for comic books this week, but we have 2 Ask Ru questions. #1, and yay, first Ask Rus. I'm very, very stoked for this. Comes from YouTube member Q27, and this is actually the first Ask Ru, thing put out there. And I'm going to shorten this a bit. Ru, if you wrote for the big 2 companies, who would your pet characters be? Basically, characters you'd enjoy writing and put into everything you wrote. Basically, he uses Bendis's Fascination with Spider-Woman, and Jeff Jones with, like I said before, the entire Silver Age. And my answer to you, Q27, especially for Marvel, I initially thought, well, this is easy, Adam X. The actual Third Summers brother. With what Fabian did, and even with Peter David in Captain Marvel, I still think that if you just get rid of the one scene he was in with Fractions Uncanny, he could be a great character. I love Adam X. But the more I thought about it, I think a better character, a better pet character for not just a niche X book, would be something that Fabian, who I feel breathed new life into, that's Baron Zemo. Zemo. From Thunderbolts, the new Thunderbolts, to the Thunderbolts Avengers 4-issue miniseries, to Born Better. I really think that the character development of Zemo, maybe definitely not to a hero, but to an anti-hero or a very powerful entity, I think he'd be brilliant. And if I could, I'd write the greatest Zemo story ever. For DC, I have here Major Bummer, the kid from Hard Time, but as I'm reading my script, the only thing I think of is fucking Hitman. And with his relationship with Estrogen, the resurrection story writes itself. #2, from username ThatGuy42, Ru, you're always hyping the Outhousers. But I already belong to a comic book message board filled with haters who seemingly want to suck all the fun and excitement out of a hobby they pretend to enjoy. What makes the Outhousers so different? Well, that's www.theouthousers.com. Not only is it the greatest comic book message board in the universe, but you can cuss. And, well, I know that CBR, Newsarama, and I'm not sure about Bleeding Cool. I'm not sure if they let you cuss, so, well, there's that. Well, until next week, have a good one. Later, peeps.